no tiene sentimiento ni tampoco corazón. Ay, un ladrón.
1, 2, 3, Jungle Boy.
Un ladrón se robó a mí.
Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I'm making these Huevos Rancheros and I am so obsessed with these. I've been eating this all week. It's delicious. So I'm starting off with making the salsa for the Huevos Rancheros. And I'm not gonna make it spicy. I'm only gonna use 1 jalapeno, but if you want it spicier you can add another 1 or 2 jalapenos and that will make it spicy, but mine's not spicy. So I'm starting off with 4 tomatoes, and I'm just taking the little green part off of the tomatoes with a knife, just rolling around until it comes off, and then I am cutting it down at like a cross shape, just so that when we boil them, because we're gonna boil them, the skin peels off easier. So I'm putting that into a pot. I'm also gonna throw in half a white onion. Now, half a white onion was kind of a lot. I didn't actually like the onion taste all that much, so I probably recommend using 1/4 of the onion. But it still tastes fine with half an onion. It's just a really strong onion flavor. So if you like that, that's fine. And then I have 1 jalapeno that I cut the end off of, and I'm just poking it, and I'm gonna throw that in there as well. Then I just fill it up with some water and I put it onto the stove until it boils, and then I am also gonna cover it and leave it there for about 20 minutes so that those tomatoes can get really soft and the skin is basically falling off the tomatoes. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna peel them and we're gonna throw everything into a blender with some cilantro and some spices, and that's gonna give us our salsa. So yeah, just waiting for that to just waiting for those tomatoes to cook. So it did take about 20 minutes. Sometimes it takes a little longer than that. Sometimes it takes a little less than that. Just depends on your tomatoes. Yeah, mine took about 20 minutes.
1, 2, 3, Jungle Boy.
Un ladrón se robó a mí. Mi corazón ya no puede sentir.
So yeah, you just check them with a fork to make sure that they're good. And once you have the skin basically falling off the tomatoes, you're gonna take that off the heat and you're gonna peel all your tomatoes, throw them into the blender with everything else. So that's the onion and the jalapeno. Then I also threw in about a 1/4 cup of some cilantro stems and leaves, filled it up with just a little bit of water, and just added a little bit of salt, pepper, garlic powder, and cumin. So I added about a teaspoon of salt, teaspoon of black pepper, about a teaspoon of garlic powder, and about a 1/4 teaspoon of cumin. And then you just blend that all up, and it creates this Huevos Rancheros salsa that we use. And I only use this salsa for breakfast. I don't really like it for anything else. So just blend it all up. Once it's done, just give it a quick taste. If it needs anything, then just add more spices to your liking. So mine needed a little bit more salt, pepper, and garlic, so a little bit more of everything. Added about a 1/2 teaspoon more of each of the things I threw in. The only thing I didn't add more of was cumin, and this is how it came out. If you want it chunkier, just add less water. If you want it runnier, just add more water. But I liked mine not too chunky or too smooth. And then I'm taking some canned beans here, so I'm going to make some beans to go with the Huevos Rancheros. And it's the same thing that I did in my last video, my chimichangas video. I just took some pinto beans from a can. I added about a half a cup of water, and I brought it up to a boil. Once it's up to the boil, you add a teaspoon of salt, teaspoon of pepper, quarter of a teaspoon of cumin, and then you add about a 1/4 cup of cheese, and you blend it with an immersion blender or your blender, and you got some beans. Now I am taking this small little saucepan here, and I'm just filling it with a little bit of oil, not a lot, just a little bit. And I'm gonna be frying 2 tortillas. I'm only gonna be making 2 huevos rancheros. I know I made a lot of salsa, but I'm using that salsa for, I used it for the whole week. I made this like every day. So I love huevos rancheros. Like sometimes you just get a craving for something. That's what this was. So I ate these all week. But yeah, you just fry your tortillas, or just corn tortillas, any corn tortillas. Just takes maybe a minute or 2 on each side, and just so they start to get like golden, or like a little bit brown. That's how you know they're ready. You just pick them up and you shake some of that oil off, and you put it off to the side on a plate lined with a paper towel. So that was the first one, and then I did a second one. Second one ripped, but it still tasted good. You can see it had a little rip there in the middle from my tongs, and it cooked faster because the heat of the oil got hotter. And oh my god, I made such a mess with the oil. It just splatters all over the place. So just always be careful with oil. I didn't burn myself like I have before, but be careful, because I have definitely burned myself multiple times with oil. Once you have your corn tortillas nice and fried, you're going to put some beans on those tostadas. They're basically tostadas now. You can use tostadas if you don't want to fry the corn tortillas, but I feel like when you fry them yourself, they taste so much better. And then I'm just gonna be frying the egg to go on top, and I am using a plastic spatula because I couldn't find my middle one. But yeah, try not to use a plastic spatula. I just used the same oil, and what I did is I cracked the egg into it, and the oil is on low, but you can also turn it off for a little bit, and then put it on low, turn it off, put it on low, because the temperature needs to be really, really low when you're frying an egg. I just sprinkled on some salt and pepper. Once the white part of the egg isn't runny anymore and it's fully cooked, that's when the fried egg is done, and you can just pull it out of the oil, and you can put it on top of your corn tortilla and egg. So I am using the spatula to basically throw some oil on top to cook it faster. Once it's done, I just pick it up and kind of shake it a little. Just be careful not to break the yolk. You want it to be nice and runny. Well, at least I do. You can cook it longer if you don't like runny eggs, but I love my yolks to be nice and runny. And this is the second one, and I did the same thing. I just cooked it on a really low temperature, and when I see those bubbles come up, I pop them just because I don't like the way they look. But yeah, that's just me. It doesn't really matter. And there I am, just sprinkling some salt and pepper on them again. And this one, the white of the egg actually covered the entire yolk, which I thought was cool. So it was really easy to tell when this one was done. So once it's done, I did the same thing. I just picked it up with my spatula and let the oil drip off of that, and I put it on top of my corn tortilla. So now I have my huevos rancheros here, and I'm just pouring the salsa on top. And I did top it with a little bit of cilantro, but that's optional. It was more for aesthetic purposes. to get a nice thumbnail. So yeah, I hope you guys try my Huevos Rancheros. This is delicious. I love it. It's the best. The only difference I would say to do is maybe put a quarter of an onion in the salsa instead of a half of an onion if you have a big one. The last time I made this, I had a smaller onion, so I used half of it, and I think that's why it was fine. Yeah, don't use too much onion. It still tasted delicious. So I hope you guys try it. Please like, comment, subscribe, and make sure you turn your notifications on so you can see every time I post a new video. Also, please go like my Facebook page and tag me if you recreate any of my recipes.